afternoon. Good afternoon. We are so happy to be back with you on Faith and Healing. Very excited by what the Lord has done and absolutely excited about sharing in this new season with you. Very exciting things that we have in store. And we begin this evening right on target with some awesome spring recipes that we are making available for you because we do know that you enjoy the spring. Everybody loves the spring, even though we appreciate other seasons. And so we are just really elated to be back on the broadcast with you and sharing in this new and exciting season. We're going to go right into our recipes for the evening. We are looking at some lettuce soup we have on the menu. We also have some squash soup that is on the menu. And we are also featuring some apple soup. Who would have thought that you could make apple soup? But yes, if you're creative with your cooking, there's nothing that you really cannot do. And so we're just going to go directly into experimenting with those recipes, sharing with you how you could entertain in this season of life, even despite, the matters that we are facing now that things are opening up a bit and you're able to entertain a little more safely, carefully, cautiously. Just some ideas on some simple soups that you could enjoy. We'll go with lettuce, our first soup. Generally, people do not like vegetables. We have a huge bowl of lettuce soup here. And because people do not like vegetables, we found a creative way to allow you to enjoy your vegetables and like leafy greens, like lettuce. Usually, people are a bit reserved. But here, you can turn what you would have ordinarily just eat into a soup. And we have added to our lettuce soup this evening. We have some cabbage, which, as you know, is a superfood filled with incredible benefits like anti-inflammatory properties, great with cholesterol balancing. And we have added this cabbage superfood to our lettuce. We've also added some cucumbers, as you know, shredded cucumbers. We've cut them up really small, diced it, and we've added it, to the soup. Cucumbers, as you know, is excellent for skin health. If you're looking to have healthy, glowing, beautiful skin from the inside out, cucumber is great. It also has a water element, so it's great for hydration. We also have some celery stock in there, great for intestinal issues. So, you can add that onion, anti-inflammatory. So if you notice with the lettuce soup, we have a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. And that is because it's an issue that many people face, the matters of inflammation in various parts of the body. If you're a lupus patient, if you're an autoimmune sufferer, you know that inflammation is definitely an issue, of vital issues. But with this combination of greens added to the lettuce soup, lettuce is great in iron and fiber and high, in its vitamin nutritional values. So you want to definitely add that to your diet. And of course, like I said, if you don't want to sit and eat it in a salad, then you can make it into a great soup. Add those elements. We've also added a pinch of pink Himalayan salt, which is a much healthier version if you're a sufferer of high blood pressure. And we've added a little cumin just for taste. And you can add a little olive or coconut oil to even increase a tablespoon your taste in your lettuce soup. So again, one of the features that we are having for our spring soup recipe collection, this evening's presentation, we're looking at lettuce, which is a great mild. You don't have to boil the lettuce. You allow the water to simply hit for a bit, maybe a few moments until you get a bit of warmth. You put all of your ingredients in again, or ingredients is a whole raw onion, diced very small. You can add a little garlic because you can't go wrong with garlic, another superfood. You add some cucumbers diced very, small in proportion with your chopping of your lettuce and your onion. Some cabbage, another superfood, anti-inflammatory, great on cholesterol health. You can add that also to your combination. A little cumin for taste, a bit of pink Himalayan salt for the balancing of the blood pressure. And here you have a soup, but so much health benefits is taken into the system. And again, lettuce is great in the fiber intake, so you cannot go wrong with this food. So here you have it tonight. You are enjoying a lettuce soup again. For your preparatory method, do not boil the lettuce. You allow the water to be heated very nicely. You drop all of the ingredients on a very, very low heat for about maybe 7 to 10 minutes. You just allow a little bit of a simmer so that you can enjoy this. You serve with your favorite bread, and there you have it. A nice bowl of healthy lettuce soup, huge and large, and we are very excited to have this. Again, this evening on the menu, we are featuring squash. Now, squash is a member of the pumpkin family. If you look here, you will see this is half a squash. It has seeds. It looks like a pumpkin. It's in that family. Great benefits for the hair. Definitely, if you're looking to grow your hair, if you're experiencing issues like alopecia where you're balding, squash is great for balding issues. If you're thinning, if your hair is thinning, if you are losing hair, guys, ladies, this is not only a guy problem. There are many women battling the matters of alopecia, baldness, especially as we age, things change. Squash is a great food to add to the diet. As you know, in order to get the full benefits, you would have to eat this on a consistent basis to be able to see results. It's also great for eye health. So if you're having eye issues, then you can add this as well. Vision issues, you can add squash to the diet. Great again for those issues. Here tonight we've prepared a squash soup, which is awesome. So right here, if you notice, you will see that this is nicely pureed. Okay, so let's talk about how this was made. So you boil the squash to get it pretty nice and soft, and then once you do that, you can use your pureeing device, and you mash until you have a pureed. Once it is boiled, you remove it from the stalk or the water, and you mash until it's nicely pureed. You add about 3 cups of water, or you could add vegetable broth, to increase your taste. And here tonight we have in the squash recipe, we have a bit of cinnamon, which you cannot go wrong with cinnamon. Cinnamon is excellent at balancing sugar levels in the blood. So again, you're eating, but you're eating for health, you're eating for better. And you can add a bit of celery, you can add a bit of basil, and if you don't have any of those, if all else fails, you can even use a bit of kale that you chop up very thin and you drop into this. You can mix it all in if you want that color to blend, or as I did tonight, I just basically allow it to sit right in the center there of the dish. And I added about 3 to 5 tablespoons of maple syrup. If you know me well, I do like to use those sweeteners, but I use the healthier version, not raw sugar, honey, maple syrup, or the organic agave. For this choice, about 5 tablespoons. Sounds like a lot, but this is a big pot of squash soup. You add that maple syrup. You can add a bit of cinnamon. Let me see my cinnamon here. You get some ground cinnamon. You sprinkle over your squash soup, and you put your maple syrup. You blend that in nicely, and there you have an amazing squash soup. You take care of your balding issues, take care of your eye issues, but you're also getting some cinnamon to stabilize the sugar and increasing some great health benefits as you enjoy a nice spring soup with friends. If you have friends over, again, these are not the kind of soups that are blazing hot. Once you boil this, again, you use half a squash. I used half a squash, okay? You cut into reasonable size pieces. You bring to a boil. You allow that to get nice and soft. Once it is soft, you mash. You can remove the skin. Mash this up into a puree, and you add your cinnamon, your maple syrup, your basil, or your parsley. You blend in those things nicely into the soup and nicely serve, really just warm. Those are not your blazing soup options because it is the spring, it is not the winter, so you can just go easy on the heat. But there, if you're entertaining, if you have a little gathering with friends, healthily, safely, you can certainly add lettuce or squash soup to your menu. And finally, on our presentation this evening, we are featuring apple soup. And I asked you the question, who would have thought that you could take apples and actually make a soup, right? But that's exactly what I am doing here tonight. And I have here on our stove top, okay, and we made sure that, you know, we're covering this on the stove top. I'm going to show you what this apple soup here looks like, and this is incredibly amazing. It smells great. The aroma is going all through the house. Let us talk a little bit, and pretty soon I'm going to serve some of this. Let's talk about how we prepared this apple. You need about 3 cups of apples, so anywhere between 3 to 5 large apples. I used the large red, you know, you could use Gala, you know, apples, or you could also use your choice, the green apples. The green apples tend to be slightly sour. I use the sweet apples because you're looking for that sweet taste. Right now, this is simmering and it smells amazing. So you chop your apples nicely diced into squares, and you add in a skillet like this, okay, the one that we have here on our stove top. You basically add a whole onion, okay? You can you add a whole onion, you add basil leaves. If you're from the tropics, you know that we like cooking with basil leaves. These are kind of dry, so these are basil leaves. You can get this in the health food store, or even in locations like your local supermarkets, they will sell those. And this smells pretty good, and what it does is it adds a nice aroma, you know, to what you're doing. You also add with the onion some celery, about 1 or 2 celery sticks, okay? So you chop that really thin, very, very thin, and dice. Same thing with the onion, and you add that to your pan with a bit of coconut or olive oil, about 3 tablespoons. You put in the skillet, you add the celery, you add the onion, you put a bit of basil or parsley, again nicely chopped, and you add, some people use curry powder. Instead of curry powder, I use the turmeric, okay? So you add a bit of turmeric for color, and once again I'm going to show you again. So you can add about a tablespoon of turmeric powder. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory and is a powerful tool in dealing with the nutrient, in dealing with the matters of arthrital issues. So there you can add the turmeric powder instead of just the regular curry. And again, that is because we want to cook with foods that are like our medicine. So not only are we eating things that are tasting good, but they're helping our bodies to be better in whatever areas that we are struggling in. So once you do that, you allow that to, on the stove top on medium, not high heat, medium heat. You put all the ingredients in, the oil, the celery sticks, the onion, the basil leaves, and the basil, the parsley, and your turmeric powder, a tablespoon of that, one celery stalk. You put it on the stove top. You allow to simmer until your onion is very nice and soft, but it is not burnt, okay? And I am lowering my heat a bit here on my apple soup. So you allow that to simmer. Then you add your apples. Once the onion is nice and soft, you add your apples. That will bring you to about maybe 10 minutes of heating. You add your apples, and now you allow your apple to be blended in, and you use some vegetable stock. And I already poured some in. I'm gonna pour a little more because I notice I have a little thickening going on here, and I'm just going to stir a bit. And this is boiling on the stove top that we have, and it is, I mean, it smells amazing. And the turmeric gives it a very nice flavor. And there, you allow that to simmer. Now you have the option of just allowing the apples to remain in those squares and cook that way, or you can puree the apples like I did the squash, and you can have a pureed apple soup, or you can just eat the apples like you were doing potatoes that were caught up in a soup. And there we have it. I am going to scoop up some of our it is amazing that you would be able to do that with apples. I added a little more broth. You can use vegetable stock, and I added a little more of that to be able to get some. Remember, it is a soup, so you want enough liquid. And there you have a nice bowl of apple soup. Imagine that you would do this with apple. So imagine friends being over. You serve this with some nice healthy bread. This is a multi-grain bread. You serve any of your soups with a nice slice of bread. And there you were able to entertain with some unique soup options. Remember that apple is also a superfood loaded with so many nutritional values, balances blood sugar, great for the heart, anti-cancer properties. You can't go wrong. So imagine that you're not only entertaining though, you are treating your friends to foods that are actually taking care of their bodies and providing nutritional values that allow them to, be healthier. If they're battling sugar issues, their glucose levels are not balanced, diabetics, high blood pressure, hypertension, the many debilitating diseases that so many people face. Rather than just giving them a meal, why not create an option that is providing healing right along with enjoying a great meal? And that's really what we've done tonight. So we want to thank you tonight, this afternoon, for joining us on Faith and Healing. We hope that you are totally going to benefit from the lettuce soup, the squash soup, and the apple soup. A great combination of some healthy spring options for entertaining your guests. And of course, whatever you do, remember always that God wants us to not only prosper in our physical areas of life, He greatly delights in us prospering in our spiritual areas of life, so that we are able to grow not only physically, but we grow spiritually. He wants that for us, and I pray you want it for yourself. God bless you. Enjoy your soups, enjoy this session of our faith and healing. Until next time on our presentation, God bless you and you have a wonderful evening.